firstly, first off, we're going to do the handshake. So this is what we do on every single episode of the Dominic Kelman podcast. If you've been watching, please, guys, just like, share, and subscribe. You know what to do. You know everything that all those YouTubers say, yeah? So first off, get your Moretti, son. And I got these especially
Cheers,
for
mate.
you.
I know you did, yeah.
At
Thank
the top,
you, man.
Bottom twice,
Yes.
pop, and the
Bosh.
top. So we're going to do it one more time.
It's our new secret handshake, yeah?
You know it, brother. You know it. Top.
Cheese.
So,
Sweet.
guys, before we dig deep into old Reis over here, Reis, in my opinion, has been one of the most genuine and loyal people that
mate, stop it. You're making me blush already.
Mate, listen, I'm a very truthful guy. You've probably never met me in this capacity like this before.
No, I haven't, mate, yeah.
But in my opinion, in the world I met him in, he has given me opportunities within the music world at a very, very, time where a lot of people maybe didn't want to give me any help or give me any sets and things like that. Always paid without even me asking.
Just shouldn't have to ask, man. You shouldn't have to chase people for money.
Well, there you go, man. But
there's a lot of them for cowboy promoters out there.
There's many of them. So I just want to give him a quick clap, Joshy. We got Reis. We got Reis on the show, who I'm very, very proud of. So first things first, how are you doing, brother?
Not bad, mate. Not bad.
Good to see you, man. I'm doing very well. I'm doing very well.
I mean, I've been busy. It's crazy. Like I was saying to Josh earlier, I've been running around all day, making sauces, going to one supplier, going to another supplier. I'm working harder than I've ever worked. But it's good. Life's good, man. As good as it can be. We're going through times like this, when you're seeing all of this sort of stuff happening around you. It's all good, mate. It's all good.
Absolutely. And you can't deny the art of being able to adapt to your surroundings, right?
Yes.
Even what I'm doing with this podcast.
Yeah.
I started this within COVID, and so did you with NUGS, right? But what we're going to do, before we even get to NUGS, before we go through this success story, right? I want to go through scratch. We're going to have a nice beer and go through your life.
Sweet, man.
All right, brother?
Sweet.
So first,
take a sip first before we start this, then, yeah? Cheers.
Boom. Cheers, man. So first things first.
Go for it.
Where was you born?
Where was I born? I was born in Rush Green.
Rush Green.
Dagenham. I've grown up, to be honest, it's quite it's a bit of a simple story. I've lived in the same house my whole life. Okay. Yeah, I've lived in a place called Hackton, in between Hornchurch and Upminster.
Hackton? I didn't realise that was in between Hornchurch and Upminster.
Just in between, yeah.
All right, that's sweet, okay.
Yeah. I went to Hackton Primary School, obviously.
Okay.
And then I moved over to, obviously, secondary school, went to Gaines.
Oh, okay.
In Upminster, where I met, some of my closest pals that I'm still, really good friends with today.
What year was you born again?
93.
93, sweet.
Yeah.
I'm
Back
91.
in 93. Yeah. But I grew up, my old man's Turkish.
Okay.
My mum's English. My old man come over when he was 16.
Okay.
Grafted in the restaurant business.
Really?
Waitering.
Is that your father?
That's my dad.
Your father, okay.
Yeah. And my mum as well. They both met in a restaurant. They're both working in a restaurant. That's how they met each other. So they both grafted in the restaurant business, doing waitering, waitressing. My dad worked in the kitchen for a little bit. My uncle did the same thing. My dad's brother, he come over a couple years before. My dad is his older brother. And then, they grafted their whole lives and then ended up opening a restaurant about 32 years ago.
Wicked. So you've got that entrepreneurial sort of mindset from your parents.
And you know what? I didn't even think I did. I think it was something that was maybe installed without me even knowing from like a young age. You know what I mean? I never really grew up thinking, I want to run a business when I'm older. I want to do that when I'm older. But I feel like that sort of hustle and that, that want to be successful and want to do more definitely has come from my mum and dad and how hard they've worked.
And they're still together now?
Still together now.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't know how. They've been working together for 31 years.
But listen, that is a testament.
For 31 years.
That is a testament to your family.
Yeah,
exactly. That's
and they've stuck together through thin and thin. Don't get me wrong. There's probably been hard times and whatever. Of
course.
I know it now. Running a kitchen with my missus. That there's clashes every now and then. Sometimes it's going to be heated, but. It's all good. It's all good, man.
So did they grow up in Essex as well?
My mum grew up in Essex. Yeah, she grew up in Raynham. And and my dad grew up in Turkey, come over when he was 16.
Okay.
Come over on his own with his brother. His brother was over here first, and then he come over a couple of years later.
Because I always wondered how he's always so tan when I see this geezer. I'm like, he looks like me.
The olive skin,
when we used to be having a little 1-2 skank on the floor, I used to see him always smiling, always looking tanned up and that.
I do try hard, mate. I do try hard.
So now
the genes help.
Yeah, exactly. So now you're in a loving, hard-working home, I'm guessing, yeah? So do you have brothers and sisters?
Got an older brother and an older sister.
Okay.
A lot older.
Okay.
They're like, my brother's 10 years older, my sister's 13 years older.
Right, okay. What was that like for you then?
I was probably the mistake that happened 10 years later. The best mistake they ever made. So
they had a cheeky one.
Best mistake they ever made. So obviously I was the youngest, and probably... I had probably a bit of a tension growing up, could be being the youngest and coming sort of that far later down the line.
In some ways, sorry to cut you, you might have had, I'm an only child, so you might have had the sort of only child, sort of the way that you had the attention
in a way.
To actually focus on you.
Yeah.
Because your brother and sister were so much older.
A little bit, but I also had that, I almost had my older brother to look up to massively and my older sister to look up to massively as well. So it's almost like I had a few older people around me sort of bring me up. But I had a lot of mates sort of my own age from like quite young. We had a lot of family friends. So I had all them sort of socials, that social interaction from an early age, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so was you always the confident man you are today?
You know what, weirdly enough, I think, I do think I was pretty confident from quite a young age, to be fair. I used to go drama school when I was a lot younger.
Okay.
When I was like 3 or 4, I think I started doing that sort of stuff.
So did I.
And I just wanted to be, I wanted to be that centre of attention. Growing up in school, I wanted to be the funny guy.
Yeah.
Always, like making laughs and jokes and that in class. Probably should have concentrated maybe a little bit more. But I just love being, I love being that, that class clown and making everyone laugh, making everyone smile.
Yeah.
And that's probably, developed into my love for putting on parties as well. When I was doing that for so long.
Yeah, which we're going to get into.
Yeah, doing that for so long, it's probably stemmed from that as well.
Yeah.
Wanting to make people happy and wanting to make people, have a good time.
Because I think, a lot of people get a vision in their head of what a club promoter is,
yes,
for example. And I can't lie, I've been in and out of it since I was 18. So I'm 29 now.
Yeah.
And you do meet some cunts.
Of course you do.
Of course.
There's plenty of them.
And I'm not saying this because you're here, so I'm not, I'm not licking his arsehole, but I'm just saying that people like you come very few and far between in that business, especially in the underground business.
Yeah.
So, as a young kid, was you, because you're only 2 years younger than me, so was you exposed to the Essex parties at that point? Like, what was you into at that point?
When I was, you know what? In terms of music, my music taste is so far and wide.
Same.
If you put my iPod, if you put my phone on like shuffle, you put my Spotify on shuffle, it plays from indie music through to grime, through to house, through to techno,
same.
through to
rock,
even reggae and rock and literally everything. As long as it's good music, it's got a bit of
good music, mate.
It's got a bit of a groove and it's got a bit of a vibe to it. I can get down with it. But I think when I was like 15, 16, 17, sort of getting into college, I started off listening to that's when I started getting into dance music a little bit more.
Yeah.
And more house music. And a bit more sort of commercial sort of house stuff. Like your Fed Legrand and your bingo players.
Afrojack.
I was at Ministry of Sound from 16 through to 21.
Do you remember like Warehouse, North London?
Yeah, I never actually, you know what, I only went to Warehouse once when it turned to, what did it turn to? Like W34 or
W34
North
London.
Or something like that, in Edmonton,
Did you go Matter?
I went to Matter. Matter was my first, that was my first rave.
You probably saw Feddy Legrand there.
No, I actually went to Mullet Over.
I
started off on that underground tip, and then I went back into like Fed Legrand and bingo players and all that sort of stuff.
That's exactly how I laid back Luke and all that.
Yeah.
But that is how I started doing nights. So I was always an underground head. So before I started playing house at parties, I was on the underground like sort of garage drum and bass tip at that point. But then when I started doing commercial parties, I was playing the more laid back Luke,
Yeah.
Dirty South.
Yeah. Well, going back to what you're saying about garage, to be fair, and going back to like earlier in my life.
Yeah.
My older brother, he had a pair of decks. He had a pair of decks like these in our, in our bedroom. We used to share a bedroom. Like
Perfect.
we're only in a 3-bedroom house. Sister in one, me and my brother in another. And he used to just bang garage constantly. So I used to know from like when I was about 5, 6. I used to hear all these garage tunes that he'd be buying every weekend.
Yeah.
And even now, any garage tune that comes up, I would have heard it before. I probably couldn't tell you the name, who it's by, anything like that. But I know the tune, I know the words to it, I know the rhythm to it. So I've grown up around garage, and garage is probably still up there as probably one of my favourite music genres.
Absolutely, and especially there's a lot of there's a lot of good labels out there pushing that at the moment.
Yeah.
You know, you've got Dr. Banana, stuff
amazing.
like that.
Wicked.
It's amazing stuff being produced out there.
Alec Falconer.
Falconer,
all of them lot are doing wicked stuff. And to be honest, there's a lot of crossover with the music that OSCURO, my party, is plays, and garage. There's so much influence from that UKG sound that's
Absolutely.
in there.
So before we dig deeper into, because I know, because so you see the first 10 minutes of this podcast. Do you feel how the first 10 minutes is like, what? This is new. This is. No, but then once I get ya, it starts to just be like a flow.
Yeah, man,
right?
it's good. It's good. It's
so now, what age did you start promoting? What was your first job?
My first job was nothing to do with promoting. I probably did a lot of the same job that a lot of people who was like 15, 16, eager to work. Well, actually, going back earlier than that, I was working in my mum and dad's restaurant. From 12, 13. I was cleaning the dishes, you know what I mean? Out back, cleaning the dishes. So you
know hard craft,
cleaning up. Every Thursday, Friday and Saturday night I had to do that. Up until I was 16. I'd have to do all the way, every Friday, Saturday night. And then if I wanted to go around my pals after, I had to finish work at 10:30, clean up with everyone, and then go around to my pals' house to, jam out and do whatever we were going to be doing. So I've been working since, a young age. I've known I'd work. I've always had to work for, the pound note that goes in my pocket.
Yeah.
So when I was like 15, 16, I wanted to get a proper job. While I was still in school, going into college. So I went into retail. I was working in New Look. I did a bit of JD Sports, footwear specialist. Bloody, I can tie laces quicker.
Halfords was my first retail job.
Sweet. So, yeah. It was good stuff, man. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the social aspect of it. Had a wicked time there doing it. Wouldn't do it again personally. Do you know what I mean? It's not a bit of me.
It's hard, man.
It's hard work,
but you know what though?
I've got so much respect for any person who's working in a shop and having to do them long hours, having to do stock takes for bloody 12 hours over a night and all of that sort of stuff.
And get spoke to like a piece of shit.
Yeah, exactly,
all day.
man. Exactly. I mean, I was quite lucky. I never really had that many, rude customers come up to me. But I used to see it all the time. And it weren't nice. But then I didn't want to do that forever. I was in college, and then I left college.
What was you doing at college, though?
So I did drama.
Okay.
I did film studies. I did maths.
Okay.
Did do economics as well, but it was far too confusing for me. I had a shit teacher as well. It just weren't a bit of me.
I did film studies at sixth form as well. Film studies is wicked.
It was brilliant. I watched films most of the day. I think I made a couple of films with like a few of my pals, just having a laugh. But I'm still massively into my films.
I'm massive into film.
And creativity of it. I like weird stuff, man. I like a lot of French cinema. And
have you seen Martyrs?
I haven't seen Martyrs.
Have you seen a Serbian film?
I haven't seen that. I've heard about it. I don't know if I want to see it. It sounds a bit too...
Requiem for a Dream?
Oh no, I've seen. I studied a bit of it in film studies actually.
Mate, I've got
the whole film's backwards, right? With Requiem for a Dream.
No, you're thinking of not The Pianist. You're not Seven. I know what film you're.
I think what it's called now. I'm sure.
I know what film you're thinking of. He's got blonde hair in it, and it's from the machine.
No, that's not it. It's basically the whole film is done backwards. Each scene is going backwards in
wicked
time,
film, man. I can't remember.
Start at the end, finish at the beginning type thing.
I can't remember what it's called, but
all films like that have got a bit of a twist to it. I love that sort of thing. So I studied that. Studied maths because I've always been pretty good with numbers.
Okay.
I love bit of a geek in primary school and secondary school, man. Like when I was in primary school and I'd be going back to my mum and dad's restaurant of an evening, I used to ask the waiters to do me bloody sums. They used to write out sums for me. I used to sit there and ask them to, then mark me. Like, I used to love anything to do with numbers. I used to
and
love
you're
it.
still that good with numbers now?
Still good with numbers now. I still enjoy it. Like, that's one of my favourite things that I'm doing with to do with
that's
the
what
business,
I've always
man.
said.
Working out our profit and loss and working out our balances and working out, our break-evens and margins and all of that.
Because that's what I've always said. I've always said, like, because one of my two closest friends, Adam and Robbie, they did maths degrees, both got firsts.
Yeah.
And to me, like, I did an English degree. I did an English literature degree. So I'm so, like, I struggle with numbers. Yeah. So I got a B in my GCSEs. But to this day, like, if I'm in the shop... You had to work
hard for that B, though, sort of thing.
One of them next. Yeah. I had a tutor every Wednesday.
I feel like you've either got that brain, you've either got that logical... sort of numbers-driven brain, or you've got that sort of more lateral, creative.
That's it.
And you're better with words and better at articulating yourself, that kind of thing. So I feel like I've got one or the other. Sometimes you can be sort of fairly good at both, but if you're really good at one, you're not normally as good at the other sort of thing.
And like even in the shop, like it's a bit embarrassing, but I can be so confused with literally the smallest change. Or numbers, I'm like, I need to just get out of this situation and not think about it too deep. Which is quite interesting to say that, because I've always said to them, maths to me is like another language to me.
Definitely.
So at what point did you start promoting?
So yeah.
And what was your first party?
Coming out of college, I started working so this is when I was super into my house music. I was going raving every weekend. I was using my cousin's ID when I was like 17, getting into places and whatever. And I'm quite embarrassed because he ain't the best looking geezer in the world. And so I was super into it and I wanted to be involved in it in some way, but I weren't even sure if I wanted to promote. That weren't even on my mind at that time. But I see a position come up as an intern for a magazine called Guest List. It's called Guest List Network. You might have heard of it.
I'm not too sure.
It's like a free sort of newspaper that they did around London. It was all to do with music, fashion, but it was more to do with like house music, drum and bass. I think they did a bit of reggae, and they had sort of the genres that weren't sort of covered by your more commercial sort of magazines.
Okay.
So I joined as their sort of house music ambassador, basically. It was an intern, wasn't paid anything, it was paid absolutely fuck all. But I was enjoying it. I was getting a bit of experience. I think I worked there for maybe a month and a half, 2 months. So it got to the point where I needed to earn some scratch, man. Like, as good as it was, doing it all for free. And
did you get any commission out of that?
It wasn't getting anything. It wasn't getting paid a penny. It was literally just an experience thing. So I was still working, on the weekends, doing some other bits and bobs, just a little bit of cash in hand and whatever. And then I was quite lucky. My sister knows the owner or knows the guy who started We Are Festival.
Amazing.
So do
you know Sean Miller?
Sean Miller. It's her brother, basically.
Okay, cool.
She's known him.
Big up Sean, sadly.
It's
been a while, Kel.
So, anyway, my sister has known him for years, and I've known him for years as well, but I didn't realise he was even doing this sort of thing. I didn't even know he was a promoter.
That was I
wasn't asking them questions when I was growing up. So, that very first year, he basically asked a group of, a bunch of young people, I think, gave them all a survey. And it was I thought it was just a market research thing. So my sister said, look, fill that out for him. I'm going to give it back to him. He's trying to find out some info. So the questions were something like, right, what's your favourite festival? What DJs do you like to see at the minute? What are you into? Like, what music are you into? What other parties are you into? What brands are you into? That kind of stuff. So I just thought, I filled it out for him. Didn't think anything of it. Turns out it was more of a vetting process to find an intern. And I think he knew that I was sort of, I've just left that job. I was still out there looking for something.
It's so crazy though, still, because at that age, it's like people are asking you these questions and it's like, do they realise how much association to obviously drugs, alcohol and so on that they're asking a 17, 18-year-old about this world?
Yeah,
but because there's a fine line.
There's definitely a fine line, and obviously, the worlds go hand in hand. Do you know what I mean?
There's doesn't mean everyone could.
Everyone who goes out partying, cracks on and gets on it and stuff. No, by all means, there's so many people that I know that go out, they don't touch anything.
Yeah, exactly.
And everything else. I don't think I think he was giving me an opportunity. I think he knew how much fun he's had doing this kind of thing. He knew how big the event was going to be, and he was giving someone a shot. So I can't thank the guy enough. Reis, listening, thank you very much, mate. And yeah, so basically, it turns out he was vetting people for an internship, and you know, it was an internship, so it was again super low paid to start with, but I was getting invaluable experience. And I remember walking into that
great
office,
connections as well.
Great connect. Well, that's what it's all about, man. I think
it really is.
Life
really
is about making connections, meeting people, networking, building relationships, keeping relationships, nurturing relationships, all of that kind of stuff. But I remember walking into that office for the first time because I still didn't even know when my sister told me, yeah, it's an internship. Thing called We Are Festival. No one had heard of it by then. No one knew what it was going to be.
And this was probably, what, 5 years
It was 2013.
13.
It was 2013, but this was back in 2012.
I was, yeah, it was
so I left the college.
FIFA, yeah,
I left the college in May. I did my internship at the newspaper and stuff that summer. Got back into retail, to earn a bit more money after that. And then this come about. I think it was like the October time. I remember walking into that office for the first time and seeing all of the DJs they were planning to book on a whiteboard on the wall.
Like, what?
I walked in, I was like, hold on a second. I was like, you're having him?
In Upminster?
You're having him? I was like, you're having Sven Vath, you're having Ricardo.
Mate, it mashed my head up when I saw that.
You're having RPR. I was like, wait, what?
When I saw the list of people that are playing at that time, and they were like in Upminster.
Upminster, if anyone's listening who don't know, Upminster has always been known as more of an older community.
Much older.
A lot older community. Some people go to retire. All of that.
It's so noticeable from Hornchurch to Upminster.
No, it's different. Yeah, it's different, man. It's different. And I remember seeing that on the wall and thinking, because before I went in, I was thinking, festival in Upminster, like, what is this going to be, man?
And did you know the space as well? It's the Aerodrome, right?
I first thought it was the Upminster.
Cordial, by the way.
I'm alright for cordial, man. I'm good. I like my beer as it is. Yeah, I'm all good, man. But
we've got it all, mate. I've made your cocktail.
Yeah, sick. I'll move on to the cocktails after. Have a proper party. I remember, I was thinking it was in Upminster Park. I didn't know it was going to be at this massive airfield. But I remember, going in there, thrown sort of a little bit in the deep end. Asked to do sort of like the more sort of general sort of admin stuff. But this was like my first office job as well. So I was getting my head around it all. And I was basically to do all of their assistant admin type stuff.
Okay.
But at the same time, I was a person that had to go out and flyer as well.
Did you enjoy that more?
You know what? I didn't mind doing that. Some people turn their nose up at it. But I think, that gets you so much experience.
Mate,
and it gets you first-hand feedback to what people actually think of what you're doing.
Mate, honestly.
So if you're giving a flyer to people and then they're looking at it and going, what's this load of crap?
And I've always said this, yeah. I've been promoting parties since I was 18, 19, yeah. Like, old school marketing.
Yeah.
Everyone listening, go back to the old school values. The minute social media came into play, you can fudge the numbers. You can tell your mates to like this status. You can tell your mates, say you're attending this, so on and so forth. But you cannot deny you cannot deny the act of word of mouth. You can't deny the act of going outside in the fucking cold 100%. And promoting to people face to face with merchandise, with flyering.
All of that sort of
Obviously, the laws have changed drastically from when I was out there promoting my own parties. Flyering in the snow and all of this.
Yeah, and even putting the old lamppost stuff up and all of that kind of stuff. Yeah. And it is a dated way of doing things, but you need to cover them bases as well. Like,
for real.
That's one of the main things I learned when I was at We Are. Even though, we were doing all of the social media stuff. We had a big social media agency.
See, I never actually knew that you was associated with We Are before SANKEYS.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Man, that was my first ever
We're going to go in deep for it all. So
that was my first gig, man. So I started off, like I said, I was earning like £40 a week. Just an internship. Paying for I lived about 5 minutes away from the office, luckily. So that was covering my food.
Did you ever have any doubts?
You know what? I was enjoying it so much to start with. And, I was just up for just grafting, working hard. And then I think they could see that after like a couple of months, they could see how hard I was working. They knew they wanted to keep me on because it was only like supposed to only be for a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
So then they offered me a full-time job to stay until the actual festival was on. They started paying me a little bit more money. I mean, say a little bit more. I think it was a couple £100 a week. But again, to me, I was like, what, £30, 40 quid a week to up to like 200 quid a week. I was buzzing.
Yeah, of course.
So I was learning as much as possible. And then when that first gig happened, obviously I was going to parties and stuff still, and they were like helping me out with guest list to wherever I wanted to go, which I was like, this is sick. This is amazing. This is the best job ever. I get to go out and party every weekend, come in, tell them all about how much I had it off on the weekend. They would love it. Do you know what I mean?
And you're probably getting a lot of attention at this point.
You know what? It was a mixture of, positive attention and sort of
annoyance.
Not negative attention.
Yeah,
but
man.
People didn't even think it was real. I mean, at one point,
I don't think I did.
People thought it was a scam. People thought, they were ringing me up saying, Reis, are you about to take my money? I'm like, what are you talking about?
Mate, I'm not even going to lie. You just
hit
hit the nail on the head there.
This amazing festival with all of these artists on from all over the world is going to be an up.
No, you're not lying
there was a rumour going around that it was a scam. And I had to tell a few people, like, no, it's not a scam. I'm not taking your money. Yeah. How much do you think I'm going to run away with? A few grand and have to come back in a few months' time?
Yeah, like...
It was stupid, man. But... It was good. It was good fun that first year, and we did really well in terms of ticket sales.
That first year was unreal.
The buzz in the office was amazing because we sold. I think the first day we sold like 2,000 tickets.
Yeah, man.
And it was only a 15,000 capacity festival, so we had sold out probably. I think it was about a month in advance or like 6 weeks in advance.
The legacy of We Are Festival is mental.
It's crazy, and they've done amazing things.
Amazing, like, honestly, and that is again, like, you know, I'm someone, I'm very truthful on this podcast. I try to be anyway.
Yeah, of course.
And obviously,
otherwise, what's the point in doing it?
People think, you know, that I have biases with different people and whatever. I don't. So I can hands down tell you, as someone who loves the scene, who loves the music, who goes all over the place to rave and play. Like, We Are Festival, what they have done, especially in Upminster, for people that don't know that area.
Yeah, I know.
That in itself, but to get...
And to get around the residents in Upminster, man, that's an achievement in itself.
But to gain the reputation to be able to continue to book artists, not of just a commercial nature, but of an all-round nature. So you are getting your Romanian DJs that are coming there to play. Yeah. You know,
well, they started off really, you know, more focusing on that underground sort of tip, which really sort of works.
Because 13, it was.
But they had drum and bass. They had Defective.
There was that one. I think it was 110.
They had one drum and bass tent, but it was Hospital Records.
Okay, it was a hospital.
So it's massive. Their brand, like, they've got such a cult following.
Absolutely.
Like, we used to have that when I worked at 338 as well. They had such a cult following.
Yeah, man.
It was crazy. Their parties used to sell out straight away. They've done their own festival.
I've been to many hospitalities, 100%.
They had a stage there, and then they had Defected as well, who's obviously, they were at that time probably on the up as well.
Absolutely.
So all sort of fit in really nicely, and all of them sort of pieces brought together. They had Art of Dark there as well, who was massively popular at the time.
Man, I fucking miss it.
Mate, loved it.
Man.
Loved it.
I'm just sitting there just like, even thinking about it, I just miss it.
I don't want to big Dan's head up bloody too much, I works with him, I love him to bits. But it was a brilliant party, man. It was one of my favourite parties to go to.
Absolutely, man.
You know, and it still is now when they do parties now. I still go down there, still wicked.
Yeah, man.
But they had We Are Festival had all these sort of pieces brought together from all these different genres that just fit so nicely and so well together. And I remember that first festival when we were putting it on, I was running around like a headless chicken, man. Like, you know, there was stuff going wrong left, right, and centre. It was our first gig. Yeah.
So what was you doing right? What was you doing wrong? I want to know that. What did you look back on and learn from?
Going wrong in the festival? I mean, there was just certain things that we didn't have organised that well. We had a management company that were organising the festival, and we thought they were doing a great job. They were doing an amazing job to what we thought at that time.
So was that a third party that you'd used before?
Yeah, no, never. This is our first gig. This is our first festival.
So for nothing else, you'd never use them?
No, so we brought them over. We've heard good things. They've done other festivals. Can't remember what the company name was now. But after the second and third year where we used, you know, these bigger companies that have been doing, you know, they were a part of Glastonbury. They've been a part of V Festival. They've been a part of all these other things. How they did things, we were like, what were we doing last year? Like, that was how we ran things last year. That was a joke.
The second year was mad.
That was a joke. This year is like, right, we were on job this year.
Yeah.
So we didn't realise how many things, you know, we were falling behind on or doing things, you know, in a really long way that made our jobs like twice as harder. Don't get me wrong, we got through it. We had a few problems with transport on that first year.
Okay.
With the taxi rank. And because, I don't know, like, if people don't know Upminster, where the festival is.
Oh, it's in the middle of fucking
It's in the middle of nowhere. It's down these country lanes that there's, single country lanes that it's, quite hard to get to at the best of times.
Yeah, it's not easy for people to get out of there, boy.
Yeah, exactly. And if one of them lanes blocks up, the whole system around the area blocks up, which was one of the things the residents obviously all kicked off about on that weekend. No one could go anywhere.
I'm still surprised they let that fucking thing happen there, mate.
They almost didn't. But we somehow got around it. So there was things like that. I remember the taxi rank. Yeah, there was this big problem with the taxi rank because none of the taxis could get into the festival. And what that means is no one's getting home. Everyone who's at the festival waiting to go home. And when you've got, people who are obviously off of their nuts.
Off their tits.
Running
around in the dark because there's no lights in that.
Standing in the middle of a cold field and there's no taxis for them. What are they going to do? They're going to walk. They're just going to grab their shit and walk.
So what's insurance like for all of that then?
I didn't sort of get involved with that
at
that time. But there is, they've got event insurance. They've got all of them stuff in from the start. But I remember... basically, there was one of the guys who was supposed to be running the after party, where we were doing it over at Lightbox, Fire and Lightbox. We had 6 rooms. We had a lot of DJs. Obviously, we had 6 rooms, so we had so many, smaller DJs from London and from Essex that were playing at that, as well as we had like Apollonia playing, we had RPR playing it, all of this sort of stuff. And I get told,
since I've seen Apollonia and RPR, boy.
Oh, mate, trust me. Mate, I miss parties so much.
Man, I miss it so bad.
Let's not talk about it. I'll start crying. Oh. But I remember putting this, basically, it was about 8 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night. All this shit's going wrong in the transport hub with all these taxis. The guy that's supposed to be going to the after party to run it is like, look, I need to stay here. I've got to run this, I've got to sort this taxi situation out. You're going to need to go and run the party. I'm like, run the after party?
Pardon?
I'm 18 years old, yeah? I'm 18. All these geezers that are playing this party are older than me for a start. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So it's a bit daunting that. It's a 6-room club. I've got to also go and, we had some of the DJs selling tickets for us and things like that. So we had to go and collect money off of some of them. We had to then pay the club some of it. We had to work out, get all the ticket list up and make sure, they've got the scanners for it and all of this sort of stuff. I'd never done before. I'd never done any of it. They sent someone who wasn't even working at the festival, one of their friends. This is like the guys that are running it.
They saw something good in you, man.
They sent him along with me. He's off his nut at this point. Yeah. So they're like, but they had no one else. They literally had no one else. This is what I mean when we said things were going wrong. Yeah. So they sent him with me, and we get there, and we don't have the ticket list. We don't have the logins. No one's answering their phone at the festival. We then get the logins for it. That works out. But only half of the tickets are on there. Half of them are on this other website that we haven't downloaded from. I'm trying to run around, find DJs, get all of their money off of them and all of that sort of stuff. Same time I'm welcoming DJs like Apollonia, RPR.
So you're dealing with them directly as well?
They're dealing with them directly. I'm the artist liaison as well as, running around doing everything.
And with acts like that big, are you paying them just before they're playing, after? Did they pay half?
No, they're all paid before. They're all paid before the event. Especially where, that was our first festival. So... we haven't got any.
Got a lot to prove.
Got a lot to prove. We can't say, don't worry, we'll pay you after the festival.
Yeah, no thanks.
They'll be like, all right, well, what if it goes tits up and you don't earn any money? What, are you still going to pay us then? So we paid all of them before, so I didn't have to worry about that. And, I just wanted to, being new in the industry, I just wanted to make a good impression with all these DJs over there.
Of course.
So I was stressing to start with, pulling my hair out, and obviously I had to put on a good face when all of these DJs were turning up. Somehow we sort of managed through the night, and as it gets to about sort of 3, 4 in the morning, obviously I've been at the festival since 7 in the morning the day before.
Yeah.
I was there probably about 16, 17 hours the day before, getting everything ready at the festival. I'm shattered, but I'm running on adrenaline at this point.
Of
you know what I mean? And the vibe at the after party's sick. Everyone's having a good time. All the DJs are happy. At that point, I started letting my hair down a bit. I had a few shots with the Apollonia boys. Like they were like gods to me at the time. Do you know what I mean? I'm sort of listening to them.
Apollonia,
I'm,
man.
Shaking Danganash's hand like, you all right, mate? Like, how's it going? And I'm having a shot with them.
Shonky and Diet, like.
It was brilliant, man.
Danganashia. I just think for you as well, at that point, you're dealing with so many different rushes and hopes as well. Because... you've been given this little bit of power as well at that age. It's working. You're running around. You're
Don't
getting
get
to
me
meet
wrong,
some of your famous...
I didn't think it was working. I thought, oh, this night is
Do we
going.
ever think it's working? Do you
This
think
night's-
NUGS is working?
Yeah, true say.
You know?
Yeah. You can always do better. But
Perception
I'm
is
sitting
everything.
there, I'm pulling my hair out, I'm thinking, I'm going to get bollocks in the morning, man. I don't even know what I'm doing wrong, but I just think it's going terribly, yeah? I don't know why.
But that's what I'm saying. What I meant by what I said is to the outside perception, we're like, Reis is doing fucking amazing. So it is always that art of perception, because just like what you said, you're young running around thinking this is all going fucking wrong. It's going right.
Everyone's
So these are all building blocks to your story. So when you was working for We Are, is that like a contract sort of basis? It's just like...
There weren't no contracts to start with.
Well, not like a written contract, but is it like you'll do something for them for 6 months?
No. It was a permanent gig.
So just all year round?
All year round. So
Oh,
basically,
I never knew
after
that. Okay.
that first after party, after that first festival, and then the after party, which I didn't leave until about 1 in the afternoon the next day, because they, you know, our fire and light box like to carry on and, you know, have their morning parties and all of that sort of stuff. It was wicked. I was shattered. I don't think I left my bed for about 2 days. I don't think I could. Apart from then having to go to the festival and start cleaning up.
What's that like?
Mad. Mental.
What is that like?
Obviously, you've got cleaners and stuff going there first, you know, picking up all of the bottles and plastic cups and all of that sort of stuff, and probably a lot of the drugs that are left on the floor as well.
Yeah. There must be...
It's a bit of a weird thing, man.
Does it all go to the council? What's going on?
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird thing. Obviously, a lot of it, the stuff that has to, you know, get confiscated, that goes to the police. We've got confiscation boxes that are sitting there, have to be given to the old bill. But it's a bit of a, you know, you're on such a buzz from this festival.
Yeah,
right?
of course.
Like, such a buzz. And then you're in this empty field with shit everywhere.
And you've got to do it the next day.
You've basically got to do it the next day. You've basically got to clean up like straight away. And it's like, shit, man, you go from hero to zero straight away. But then you start looking at the photos that are coming out. You start looking at all of the messages on Instagram.
This is actually real.
And you're like, bruh, this is a sick fucking festival. Everyone had a wicked time.
Yeah, absolutely.
All of the feedback was brilliant. So you're still, you know, you're riding on that buzz for a good while. But like I said, yeah, it was it was all round, year-round contracts that I was having with the guys. And basically, for my job after the festival, because we were right at the start of the summer, we were in, the end of May. So the rest of the summer was still sort of ahead of us. And what I was asked to do was basically go around to all of the different festivals in the UK, or a lot of the different festivals in the UK, should I say. Dance music, non-dance music, you know, normal sort of, you know, commercial sort of festivals, and basically go there, see what they're doing, see how they're running things, little things like if you've been to We Are like recently, they've got the thing that puts the wristbands on for you, like the little machine. I took that from Tea in the Park up in Scotland. Like there was loads of little things that we wanted to go and try and work out how they were doing things, what worked, what didn't work, as well as seeing like what DJs were like popular, what DJs were everyone's going off at, what music was, what particular song was everyone going mad for. All of this stuff. Obviously, I was having a good time and partying at the same time, but I was taking all of these notes and we were sort of collating them, talking about it, and then we'd host little sort of like feedback sessions as well. We'd invite sort of 20 of our ambassadors or DJs or like people that went to the festival down to like a little room or down to the office, and then we'd ask them like, who did you like, who didn't you like, who do you want to see next year? So there was so much planning that sort of went into it, and then we'd start promoting it from October onwards the next year. So it was like we had that summer to, you know, sort of debrief and figure out some ideas, but then from that October we'd start promoting the next year. So there was so much that went into it. It was like an all-round, you know, a year-round gig.
Well, in my opinion, like I think We Are's legacy, and I think it's, in my opinion, a massive success.
Yeah.
In terms of what they've been able to do with the resources around them, right? However, I will go into my opinion of what I feel like it became, not through We Are's fault, but I feel the actual music and its popularity changed.
It changed, definitely.
So now what you're getting is We Are's getting bigger, much bigger.
Yeah, definitely.
People from areas such as Kent, London, etc. are now finding out about these parties. But what comes with raving comes with drugs and comes with money.
Yeah, of course.
So what that also brings is people that don't want to come for the music. They want to come to not necessarily cause trouble.
No, but they come to
drugs and money.
They come to make a little bit of money. Yeah, of course. And there'll be people there if they're coming from places that might have a certain gang culture, or they might have a certain thing where if they see someone they know that they don't like there going and doing the same sort of thing, then there's going to be trouble. And that's normally what it is most of the time. It's not normally people getting started on that are going and having a good time.
And don't get it twisted. We Are Festival are very, very on job when it comes to their search procedure. Yeah, I actually got strip searched to my boxes.
Swear down.
Yeah, into the tent.
Shit, man.
I didn't have
just wanted to see
didn't
what
have
was
nothing that day. But literally to my boxes, put in the tent.
Crazy.
But what I'm saying is to I'm not shining a bad light on We Are Festival at all. But
I think you're
talking
the scene
about
as a whole. I think you're talking about festivals as a whole and the scene as a whole.
But it happened to 338
as well. As soon as anything gets popular, other people are going to find out about it. That's just the nature of what it is.
But what was that? What was that like for you? That's what I wanted to go into. Like, when did you start to realise maybe things are getting out of hand? It's getting bigger.
I don't think
because the year where fences were broke down and
it's all down to management problems that sort of happen potentially on the day.
Okay.
So, for example, when the day that the fences were broke down, that was because we'd sold out of tickets. It was such a popular event that people still wanted to get in. And even though
people can get in if they really try.
If they really, really try,
if they've got no tickets,
they're going to try and jump over that fence. They're going to try and push that fence open. All of that sort of stuff. And we did everything we could to tell people, don't come. If you haven't got a ticket, do not come. You ain't getting in. But people don't listen. Especially if something's that popular. Like Glastonbury, for example. Now, you're going to get so many people that are going down there.
And I know a lot of people that every year jump
get people trying to dig tunnels to get in there. You know what I mean? So it comes with the nature of being a raver and being a popular event. That's just that's what's going to happen.
Absolutely.
And I think what you were saying about the music changed, it did. But I think...
No, and I'm sorry, I may have said that, but I didn't mean as in like the style.
Yeah, no.
Just what the music brought. It didn't bring just ravers.
Oh, got you.
It brought people that wanted to earn money.
Yeah.
Off
they know
laughing gas, drugs.
Everyone knows. I think it's common knowledge that house music, techno, it goes hand in hand with drugs, getting on it. And we're not the only people that know that.
Of course.
Your drug dealer from down the road, he knows that. And he's going to go and try and make a pretty penny off of the festival as well. So it's something that, it's something that doesn't need to happen, but it's something that's always going to sort of happen. And people are always going to try and go there for that because the demand is there.
Absolutely.
But it's how you control that and how you make that sort of thing as safe and as
reliable,
as safe as possible.
Yeah,
you need your medic staff there. Like this is what I see when I see some of these events that have been happening over this time. When they've been having 300-400 people in a warehouse. Like, fair enough, crack on, do what you're doing. I mean, I don't get it wrong. I'm not sort of advocating it, but. If you're gonna have that, you need to make sure you've got ambulances there. You need a
security.
You need medics there. You need security there. You need all of these things because that stuff is definitely going to happen. But you just need to police it in the right way, manage it in the right way, and be there if just in case someone does take too much of whatever, or they take something that they don't know what it is, or something like that. You need to have that medic who knows what he's doing and knows how to deal with it there.
Exactly,
and that's the most you can really do. And give out information about it as well. Yeah, sorry, man.
No, it's all right. Because even through COVID, I've been to many a after party, many a underground party. Now, on Twitter, it might have been through COVID last year. Of course it was COVID. It was an illegal party in Manchester. I'm seeing a guy who's had a machete down the side of his arm.
That's what I mean. Yeah, it's crazy.
I've seen a guy with a machete down the side of his arm, and people don't realise why these legal parties have these things in place.
Yeah, exactly.
To make sure that you are safe. Like even if you're doing drugs, right?
Yeah.
And for guys watching, I know a lot of people do drugs. So if you are thinking that you're going to take drugs and you're going to a rave, please look at the. This is they're nothing to do with me. I'm not trying to sell their services, but the pill report. Yeah. Please use that as guidance.
Sponsors this podcast.
Yeah. Come on,
pill report. Check your pills there.
I just want you guys to make sure that you know, that everyone's being safe because people are going to do them.
Yeah, definitely.
Right?
Definitely.
So, right.
That's what it is. It's all about making, you know, the safest environment for people to go and enjoy the music and take whatever they're going to take.
Exactly.
You know, to an extent. So that's the biggest thing. We Are Festival, it got massive. It got so popular that these people are going to come there. And you know what? The scene needs people like that at the same time. Because you need them bits and bobs flying about a party. You need them bits and bobs flying about a festival. But it just needs to be managed in the right way and have the right people there to know how to deal with situations and that kind of stuff.
So what I will say now, like I just want to give a big kudos to We Are Festival. So we're going to give it a big clap, and we're going to go into part 2, and we're going to go even further into your career and especially, you know, the ins and outs of how serious about Nuggets has been performing, man. All good, yeah?
Yeah, 1, 2, 1,
right,
2.
So guys, again, you know, as I said from the beginning, this was one of the actual posters that I got booked for Reis, for SANKEYS East.
SANKEYS East.
We'll go into what happened with all of that in a bit.
But that was it. I guess that's where it sort of leads on to. It does lead on to SANKEYS.
It leads on to SANKEYS because you have booked me for SANKEYS 3 times.
Once a couple of times. Once at 338.
Because I've played in Ibiza. I've played in 338, and I've played at
SANKEYS East.
SANKEYS East. So I've played SANKEYS in Ibiza twice. Mm-hmm. But you didn't book me for one of them. One of them was Magna Carta. Was you anything to do with Magna?
No, nothing. So I know Joe well.
Yeah, so it wasn't. But I've been booked for Magna Carta, and then SANKEYS 3 times, and every single one of them was for you. So again, man,
good stuff,
and what I will say is,
play good music, you can get books. That's
thank you. And people don't understand the way getting booked works. You know, and the people that you're dealing with, and the way people can lie to you and tell you this time so that you bring 15 people and then you're not playing. I could go on and on. To be honest,
there's a lot of that. There's a lot of that style.
There's a lot of that
goes around. So it's not a nice thing for a DJ's perspective. It's not a nice thing that you've got to sell X amount of tickets to even play.
But there's a lot.
Or when there'll be promoters
DJs though.
They'll book 20 DJs for one party. They've only got 10 hours for.
Exactly.
They've got 20 DJs for a party they've only got 10 hours for, and they will tell some of them DJs that unless you sell X amount of tickets, you ain't on the lineup.
I've had it.
So it's like what I never understood that.
I've had it.
But don't get it wrong.
It's horrible.
And you know, I don't believe they do that sort of thing as much anymore. But We Are Festival was sort of they did that sort of thing to start with. They did that sort of thing. Not where they would overbook it and then cancel people off, but they would say...
Well, that kind of happened to me. I was supposed to play one year, but the person I was playing with, something happened with the money for tickets or something, so we were unable to play.
Yeah.
Something along... I think that might have been the second year.
They definitely had a problem the second year where...
It was the second year.
Where they did we put together like a sitemap of, you know, we're having this stage there, that stage there, that stage there.
Second year was massive, man.
I remember this is when we got a new management company in.
So
we had already put this sitemap out as well with the old management company. Put this there, this there, this there. The new management company come in probably about 4 months before or 5 months before the festival happened. And they went, you can't have that stage, can't have that stage, can't have that stage. So we were trying to work out ways of, you know, trying to keep...
And when they say not have that stage, do you mean not for space? Do you mean for what brand to go in?
Not even that. It wouldn't be, like management companies for the health and safety of the festival.
Okay.
So say you'd have a stage right next to another one, but it meant that there was a bottleneck of space that you had to have constantly like wide sort of spaces for people to flow in. When you've got 20,000 people in a festival, you need to make sure they can move around the place.
Absolutely.
If you've got one bit that's too small or too thin for people to fit through, you're going to get a crowd of people in that space, and it gets really dangerous. So I remember there was 1 year, I think it might be the second year, where I had to cancel a load of stages and a lot of that sort of stuff. Which, you know, and I wasn't, you know, I was doing that job at that time. I was one of the hardest things, having to tell people, sorry, man, you're not like, have to cancel that set.
That is not easy.
It ain't. It's a horrible thing to do. And you know what? Luckily, I moved away from doing that job, and I moved more into the social media side of things.
But can I say, before you continue, is that I can name 6 promoters that I've had problems with every single time. I have never had a problem any time I've ever played for you.
Yeah,
in terms of
good.
getting paid,
Good to hear,
in terms of the time it is,
yeah.
and to be honest, you've never actually told me I need to bring people, I need to sell tickets, which it took me a long while to realize that is a part of my job. I think DJs need to realize that.
Yeah,
that if you're not big, if you're not popping,
you have to graft. You have to graft to start with. That's the only way, you know, that it's going to be. Because at the end of the day, everyone needs to start. Everyone needs to make money. So that promoter needs to make money on that now. They need to sell a certain amount of tickets. So if they haven't paid out $5,000 for a DJ who's got the name and has got that ticket value of they will sell 150 tickets, then you need to sell them tickets to somewhere. So you do need to lean on the DJs. And you need to say, look, you need to push this.
No,
which I
100%.
always did. Don't get me wrong. I still drove the DJs that paid for me to push it and market it and, you know, talk about it as much as possible. I didn't set targets like you have to do this number to hit that and to play. But I'd always say, look, we need you to sell some tickets because otherwise, if we're not making money, you know, the party's not going to happen next time.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, that's sort of the way with certain things, and that was definitely what I had to do, you know, for some of the We Are festivals, sort of like after parties and things like that.
So when you was in SANKEYS now, then, like, how was you able to balance that and making a very good brand, OSCURO?
Yeah. Well, I started OSCURO when I was at We Are Festival.
I
started that at the same time I was doing that.
Okay.
And the guys there, you know, they were supportive to start with. They were really supportive with me putting the party on. And, you know, they helped me, you know, book venues. They didn't help me sort of book DJs. We had sort of smaller talent. We didn't have any budget to start with. I started with, one of my best friends, Joe, and, you know, one of my other pals, Jamie. We started with no budget. We started with, you know, just our friends to play. That was sort of what it started with. We just wanted a party.
Yeah.
We wanted to put on an underground party in cool venues with our mates playing the music that we wanted to hear.
Bringing the people you want to bring.
Exactly.
So and you know they're talented because the DJs there are very talented.
Exactly.
Like
JR and Jack Ling, both of our residents who started. They played that very first party.
Yeah, man.
We started that, I think it was like my third year of We Are Festival, we started that. And our first party we were supposed to do at Gals Gardens. I don't know if you know Gals Gardens, right next to Bethnal Green Station. It's a little... I've
been in some underground parties around here.
It's a row of archways, basically,
okay.
railway arches.
Oh, okay.
And it was a legal space. Like we knew it was to start with. We knew it weren't, you know, the most legit thing in the world, but it had a little bar, it had toilets, it had everything we needed, and it was a couple $100. Do you know what I mean? To book for the night.
Yeah.
You know, we kept all the door money, all of that kind of thing. So we were like, this is perfect. Anyway, a week before the party, we get a call from the owner saying, look, we just got raided last night. The police have put bloody tape across our front door. Look,
what, around Lake Gaff then?
Yeah, man. This isn't a week before. This is 2 days before. This is 2 days before the event. So I'm sitting there. I'm at a We Are Festival feedback session, funnily enough.
Yeah.
With all these people, I'm running this feedback session. I get this call and I'm like, shit, what am I going to do? I know this little feedback session was finishing in half hour. I've drove down to Kingston Road myself and gone into every single bar and venue down there asking if they had anything on that Saturday night. And luckily, I don't know if you know a bar called Shelter, it was called.
Yeah, I played
it used to be called Russian Bar.
Okay. Russian Bar?
Yeah, like a couple of years before that.
Yeah, I played
Went
Shelter
in there and I was like, mate, have you got anything? He was like, look, I don't know what your party is, don't know what you're doing, like, we're not up for it. I was like, cool. Went into a few more other places. Everyone said, no, I'm shitting myself. And then the guy, I left the guy from Shelter my number anyway.
Okay.
He gave me a call. He said, fuck it. We'll get you in. Let's have a good party. We'd already sold most of our tickets. So it was going to be a Ramo night. Ended up being a wicked evening. The sound system wasn't the greatest. It wasn't as good as what we were going to have at this other space. Everyone had a good time. And the owner of the bar loved us. I don't think he'd been, had that many big nights in and where it had been, busy and the bar was busy.
Yeah.
He was like, look, do you want to come and do this every week? And we were like, look, no, we're going to do this every couple of months, rah, rah, rah. And we never wanted to do things at the same place all the time anyway. We wanted to sort of move it around. And running that party, that taught me so much, man. I mean, there's only so much you can learn doing a particular job for a bigger company. When you're going and then running the sort of company top to bottom, doing everything from booking and, you know, working out the numbers for a party to, you know, putting all the decorations up and, you know, and working out all of that sort of stuff, that you really realise what it takes to, you know, really run something like that.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
So that was like, it was a massive learning curve for me. Like me, Joe and Jamie, you know, luckily I did it with them boys because, you know, I wouldn't have been able to do it on my own.
Yeah, big up them, man.
Yeah, mate.
That's a great party you got.
It was wicked, and you know what? We had some shit parties to start with. We learnt a lot, and then we start. You know, things we really sort of honed in on what our sound was and what music we wanted to have and what DJs we wanted to book. JR, Johnny, and Jack, our two residents. They, you know, they found their sound at the same time we were finding ours. You know, and it all started really sort of coming together. Coming together nicely. So I've been doing that. Been doing that up until obviously, you know.
So how do you feel
COVID
like
happened?
Yeah. So like, just before we get onto how NUGS is created.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, so 338. So, what has your experience been like with them before? You know, like for example, the fire, after the fire. Dealing with SANKEYS as a brand, because I can tell you right now, when I went to Ibiza, SANKEYS blew everyone's minds. It came to Ibiza 2012, so 13. You know, if you was going Fuse it might have been a Tuesday or Wednesday at that point.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I think people were going Solomon. That's not Matt. Solomon.
Yeah, they come in.
On
they
a
come
Thursday.
In massive.
Viva Warriors.
Yeah, they smashed it to start with, man. And
it was a different.
It was huge, yeah.
I can still tell you now. I have raved in many a place.
And they brought something different to the island as well.
SANKEYS basement.
Yeah.
Ibiza. Lord, strike me down now. I could have died there and been a happy man.
Yeah, man. They brought something different to the island. You know what? I'm not gonna sit here and say, you know, I hadn't been to Ibiza until what 2013 or 2014. No, it was 2013. Yeah, I went there for my first time, and then I sort of went back there sort of a few years later, and that was like really the only sort of 2 times or 3. I've only been there sort of like 3 or 4 times before I actually sort of worked.
A few seasons, so I was there for a while.
I worked a season out there.
Yeah. What year did you do that one?
I did do basically I ran Tool Room out there.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
okay, in 13?
Year before last.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, so when I left 338, went to Tool Room, and then ran there sort of our Ibiza season. I sort of was back and forth from here and there, basically. So I wasn't there the whole time. But I knew of SANKEYS, I knew how popular it was, and I knew it as a brand and how big it was. And 338, obviously, I knew and loved, and used to go there partying and raving all the time. And they sort of come onto the scene in a massive way, doing all these parties, underground parties that, you know, other big clubs weren't doing. And they had such a big space and such an amazing space outside. And
338 is an amazing place. It is an amazing place. As someone who's played there to many people, you know, it has a special place in my heart. But it also has a side to me that it's not what I loved.
Yeah,
you know, the environment. I've even had a few occasions where someone's tried to fight me in there, and for me, listen. Yeah. No, I can tell you now, no one has tried to fight me at a rave.
Yeah, exactly.
But the environment, people that come at the end, the overcrowding, I don't know what happened with 338 in that sense, but I mean, what can you say about that? Like, because I feel a lot of people have the same thoughts as I do when it comes to 338.
Well,
what would you say to that?
You know, with the there's a few different sort of things there. You know, it goes back to that whole thing what you're saying with We Are Festival. When you have something that's popular, it's something that, you know, that everyone wants to go to. It comes along with riffraff knowing about it and wanting to come into the party for the wrong reasons.
Absolutely.
That's just something that happens when you've got something that, you know, everyone starts to love.
And that can be with anything.
Exactly, it can be with absolutely anything. So, you know, I wouldn't put it down to, you know, the 338 guys for, you know, allowing that to happen, because their security is the tightest. The tightest security I've ever seen in my life.
They are. I'm going to be honest.
They're militant.
They're militant to the point of a bit too much, in my opinion.
It does get a bit too much, but
they have. I'm not going to lie. That has to be done.
When you're saying also things like, you know, someone started a fight with you in there, they're doing that to try and stamp all of that out. They're trying not to have any sort of riffraff in there whatsoever. So they might be a little bit too much, and they might, you know, it might feel, shit for people that are going there for the right reasons, like yourself, and having a good party.
But it's needed. It's necessary.
So when you're unlucky to be dealt with sort of a shit hand when it comes to the security there, it's only because there is someone coming there for the right reasons that they will do that to, and will stop coming in to start a fight with yourself, or start on someone else, or fucking sell a load of shit drugs, or something like that. So I don't think you could put the blame on anyone for sometimes letting a few shitbags.
Absolutely, yeah.
Anyone can look like the most decent person in the world until they fucking end up starting.
Exactly.
And then when it comes to the overcrowding stuff, I mean, like they were tight, super tight, because their council used to be so on their case. Yeah. Like send people down every week. They used to have people down there every week checking up on them, like every week.
Was that a hard project for you to run and deal with?
Manage. Well, I mean, look, I was sort of running the marketing, sort of first and foremost. Dan Perrin was running the events and booking all the DJs and all that sort of stuff. So we were a team in that sense, and it was something that the council was someone we were always trying to work with, but it always seemed that maybe they were trying to, some people in the council were trying to work against us at times. And we were really trying to do everything we could to try and create a nice, safe space for everyone to have a party in, and create an experience for everyone as well. Trying to create the best of experience in a place. Obviously Greenwich has got the O2, but other than that, it hasn't really got, any sort of like clubs or, creative spaces and that kind of stuff. So we're really trying to do something.
Yeah, to be fair, that's the only real mainstream club that I can think of around that area.
Obviously you had the one in the O2, you had Massa in the O2 as well. And,
and
that as well.
But I mean in that, O2 is Greenwich, isn't it? Sorry.
Yeah.
So that area... those are the two, powerhouses, if you like to call it that.
Like you were saying, the fire that happened, I joined after that. I knew the guys. I knew Dan and Max.
Yeah, God bless whoever lost their lives during that situation.
Thomas, who, the guy. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say I knew him and stuff before.
God bless to him and his family and so on.
Like Max and Dan and stuff. I've seen them boys, deal with something super sort of difficult and super hard. So it's they come back from such a hard thing, and I basically joined. I knew them from going to after parties there and knocking about backstage and fucking having a stupid drunk fucking chat with people, and being off your nut with Dan in the backstage, and saying the wrong thing to Max here or something like that. I knew them from doing that sort of thing, and then. They obviously knew what I was doing at We Are Festival. I'd run our We Are Festival after party there before, so they'd seen me, in action, but doing what I do, managing a party and stuff. And then when sort of the news broke that I was leaving We Are Festival, and it wasn't for any sort of bad reasons or anything like that, I just felt I'd sort of hit a point there that I'd hit sort of a point there that I wanted to have a look at something else
and expand on your own.
And
brand,
I was, I'd done the sort of festival thing, and to an extent, but I'd never done really Clubland and that kind of thing, and running weekly events. So it was a whole different kettle of fish.
But it's crazy to think that. I don't even know if you realise it so much, and I don't know how you deal with it. But you are actually quite a major gatekeeper in this scene. Do you realise that?
I don't realise that at all. No.
So I mean,
I definitely felt like I've gave. People that play decent have sent me decent music an opportunity when they've said to me after, but at the time I'm just thinking I'm putting a party on and I'm booking a load of people that can play good music for a party. Like I didn't really ever really think that much past our next gig and our next sort of set times, to be honest.
Which to be honest, which most salesmen are like.
Yeah.
But I think being yourself, authentic, loving the music and literally not losing yourself, because in that world that you're in, you could lose yourself pretty fucking quickly, yeah?
Yeah, no, I know what you mean, definitely.
And I really feel you kept to your guns and didn't, lead yourself astray.
Yeah.
So is there anyone, who was your OG? Who was giving you advice?
You know what, I was looking up, obviously, coming in at such a young age, everyone I worked with, I was looking up at.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Nicky and Reis, who was running We Are Festival, I was looking up at them. Both of them had like sort of amazing traits. Reis was wicked at thinking of different marketing ideas, I've never seen someone sort of work so hard and, you know, he'd be in the office first thing, he'd be the last person leaving, grafting constantly. And I had that same sort of attitude as well, you know, coming from where I come from and doing the jobs that I've done. So I was, you know, I definitely see that side of it. And then Nicky was super creative. He come up with brilliant ideas, so I was taking that off of him. And then when I moved over to 338, you know, Dan has got amazing ideas as well. So I was learning from him as well. I was sort of, you know, picking the bits that I liked about each of those,
and trying to take them
and try and take as much in of the bits that I wanted to as I could.
For real.
So yeah, when I got to 338, it was a completely different sort of kettle of fish, man. I was doing weekly events.
And did you have a relationship with Kai at all, who runs a boat?
I knew Kai from We Are. So Kai, funnily enough, he works in an office doing stockbroking, opposite us in Upminster. It weren't like, you know, some big corporation in the city and whatever. He was doing that there. And this was before he started a boat. It was when he did a party called Forte, I think it was.
Yeah, Forte. I remember Forte.
It was before his
first party. Forte.
Yeah, it was wicked. I went to a couple of them, man. It was brilliant. And I remember him coming into our office. I'm like 19 or 18, 19 at this point. Him coming into the We Are office, asking them boys for advice, saying, look, like, obviously you boys have been doing this for years. You've got this massive festival in Upminster. I'm about to do my first party. And, you know, he wasn't scared to go and ask for advice. And I tried to do the same sort of thing. If I sitting there listening constantly, listening to what they were doing, taking on as much as I could, and trying to learn from it as much as possible. And, you know, Kai's smashed it from
absolutely.
Where he's gone to where he is now.
I have to thank him as well, because he, you know, he took a chance on me, and I played one of my biggest gigs I've ever played for them, and obviously I'm on the underground tip.
Yeah.
So I even got backlash because, you know, I've played for Project London a long time, so you know,
some people on an abode lineup, some people thought you sold out a little bit and you've gone on to the commercial side of things.
My opinion has always been this when it comes to music is I don't give a fuck where I am, but if I'm representing me,
you've got your
like
sound,
a boat. If I'm playing for a boat, it doesn't mean I am a boat.
No.
Does that make sense? I'm going to represent them the best way I can because I'm that sort of person. You're letting me into your product.
Exactly. And you know you're going to play to your crowd as well. You're not going to play the most minimal underground thing which no one's going to have a good time to. You know, at the end of the day, the DJ is there predominantly to make the crowd dance and make the crowd have a good time. Obviously to the style of whatever their music is about. But if you're going into a party, you know, you shouldn't then just ignore the crowd whatsoever and play, you know, and play whatever you want. But you'd play things that are probably more underground than what the DJ before or after you might play. And you know what? I think with Abode, you know, it's not all about the music, and they know that. I knew that. But it
grew past that. Though.
It was about the party.
It may have been about that.
Yeah, but
it grew past that.
I think it was about, you know, the vibe. It was about the party. It was about they had dancers. It being on a Sunday. It was the Sunday thing. You know, it wasn't like, right, we're in these DJs, and that's all we're going to talk about. Like, you know, they spoke about the vibe, they spoke about the crowd, and, you know, it grew into something amazing. Don't get me wrong, music side of things, it's not my, you know,
it's not
exactly up my cup of tea, and exactly up my street either.
And that's disrespect to the DJs.
No, exactly. But it's, you know, everyone's got the thing that they like, a thing that they, you know, they probably wouldn't sort of choose to listen to exactly. But they've smashed it with their party, man, and it's a brilliant party. Like I used to work a lot of them being at 338, and then I used to go to.
Actually, you might have been at the one I played.
Probably. Mate, so many parties merge into one.
Yeah, and I'm like,
I've been to so many parties.
Reis,
I won't remember.
What's going on, son? He's like, yeah, mate.
People remind me all the time. They go, I remember seeing you at that party. I'm like, what party, man? I've been to too many.
Well, look, but yeah, big up to Kai as well, man. You know, that's an amazing party. And what I love about this conversation, before we move into part 3, I love that I've been a promoter, I'm a DJ, and you're a promoter yourself. Yeah, so we can dig into.
We've got the same sort of,
But when you're saying things, I understand it because I've promoted.
Yeah.
And then when I'm saying things on an artist perspective that you may not get, I can fill in.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
There's things like you said, you know, like a DJ having to adapt to the party or crowd and things like that. See, DJs wouldn't get that if they were just DJing. If I was just a DJ, never promoted, I'd be like, I'll play what I want. But also you have to understand that I think I used to think underground DJing is you're DJing for yourself, and if other people like it, they like it.
Yeah.
When really and truly, that's not necessarily it.
Yeah, I don't know if that is. I mean, again, you're saying because you're right. I'm not a DJ, and you know, I can DJ. I've played at my mates' after parties in some fucking kitchen till.
I miss kitchens.
God knows what time.
Do you not miss kitchens?
I love a kitchen, mate. I love a kitchen. Cheers, man.
I miss
Cheers to kitchens.
You know?
Kitchens. But like, don't get me wrong. It's a bit of both. You need to have your sound, and you need to know what you like, and you know if you get booked for you need to steer yourself. I think as a DJ, this is my opinion, into the parties that
you're playing.
You know that fit your sound. But then and if you really don't want to play that music,
don't play for that party.
Don't play for that party. Don't take the gig. Don't go and play something that you know that crowd's not going to like, because all it's going to do.
Some people do that because they're not getting booked enough.
Exactly. Well, maybe,
but then you should adapt to the party.
Maybe, yeah.
Well, look, listen. Lastly, as we go into NUGS, this is going to be part 3.
Cool.
Is there anything lastly you'd like to say just about your whole We Are SANKEYS
I mean, look,
experience?
338. I know that I had a touch getting into We Are.
You worked hard.
I know, but I had a touch to start with. I did have a touch to start with, but obviously I grafted after to try and prove myself. And then moving into 3 hours. I've been given quite a good few sort of opportunities, but I feel like you've got to see when them opportunities sort of come about, and then when they do, you need to. I've just put my all in. After every job, We Are Festival, I was did so many hours every night. It weren't a 9 to 5. It was a fucking 8 till 8.
It was life.
Fucking it was life. And same with 338. I've always put my all in to sort of every single job that I've done. I've always had that sort of hustle.
I respect that because I'm looking at you now and just seeing
about me.
I've seen how passionate you are about it.
Yeah, man. It's mate. I've had a We Are Festival, SANKEYS, 338, Tool Room as well that I went to after 338. All of them, I had the best time, and I still love it, mate. I love putting on parties. I've still do OSCURO now with Joe,
wicked,
and the boys. And you know what? I don't think I'll ever stop putting on parties and putting on events, even though I've started doing something else.
Yeah.
Because I've been pushed into doing something. Don't get me wrong, something that I love with NUGS. But I don't think I'll ever drop when all the parties start coming back. Man. I'm still putting on parties, man. I'm still booking DJs.
Listen, that's a cheers to that, man.
Cheers, boy.
Well, let's do it again before we go into part 3.
Right,
so top, bottom,
top. Cheers.
Wicked.
Sweet.
Right, Reis.
Sweet.
So we've gone through your promotional life.
Yeah, gone through my promoting days promoting days.
They're not
over yet. Exactly.
So
we've also gone from beers to cocktails. Cheers. Top, bottom, top.
Right. So right. How did you adapt to this climate to make what you've made and it become a success?
Well, I mean, I had the idea for NUGS 2019 when I was working over at Tool Room.
Okay, so you had the idea.
I had the idea then. I've got a few mates that are doing, that have got street food stalls that were doing festivals, and I've always had, an interest in it because obviously I come from a foodie background.
Of course, I didn't even think of that.
With my dad, with my dad's restaurant, and I've always grown up around food. And look, I love my food as well.
Are you a good cook yourself?
I'm a decent cook. I'm not saying I'm the best cook in the world. By far means, am I the best cook? I can cook a decent meal. But I always love trying new stuff. When we go away, like me and the boys, even when we go to like Sonar Festival, for example, we're making sure we're eating good. Like we're eating at good places, like authentic places, and trying new stuff.
Different cultures, different food. Amazing.
I love it. I'll never say no to anything. I'll try anything once.
Same.
And like a lot of my trips, holidays, and like days revolve around what we're eating each day. Like where are we going for food each day?
Yeah, 100%.
So I'm a big foodie.
Same.
And
big.
So is my missus. My missus Charlie. She's the same, when we go away together and when we go out for dinner, we're always thinking about.
I actually made her a drink as well because I thought she was coming.
No!
Oh yeah, I wasn't sure.
Don't say that. She's gonna kill me. I said no.
I wasn't sure.
Oh shit!
Because I said that. I went, I'll make one in case she turns up.
I'm sorry. I'm drinking for you as well.
We're drinking for you, girl. And Josh went, yeah, but will she turn up? And I went, yeah, I think
Make
so.
one anyway. Make one anyway.
Yeah, but
I'll take it home to her. I'll take it home. You've got
well,
to
it's
take
only
it up.
the So yeah, go on.
But yeah, she's a massive foodie as well. So like, you know, we're always making like different food. She's even got a note on her phone that's like about 100 different restaurants on it that we've got to try. Every time she hears somewhere new,
I need a
she
missus,
bangs it.
man.
She's good, man. She's good stuff. She's wicked. She's brilliant. And so I had this idea. I don't even know how exactly I sort of come up with it. You know, I was sitting there, I was thinking, you know, I'd love to do a street food thing. I'd love to get a little van and fucking drive around places, or I'd love to, you know, go to festivals and put it on, talking to people all day, serving up good food, you know, eating good food at the same time, all of that. And I thought, what could I do? So I did start thinking, like, consciously trying to think of ideas for a street food sort of stall. And the plan was, you know, to do it alongside my promoting. Because obviously I've got the contacts at festivals that I've worked with and done events out, or if I don't know someone, I'll probably know someone who knows that person.
Absolutely.
To get into places. So I thought, you know, I'm sort of in the right position to do something like that. So anyway, one day it clicked. Like, I just thought, fucking nuggets. Who doesn't love a nugget?
Yeah, absolutely.
It might have been even eating some at a time, and I thought, wait, why has no one just done nuggets? And like, you know, there's so many wing places out there, you know, that smash it. Like, you know, there's like Wingstop and Wingman's and Wing Shack and all these
But not
places.
even just on that level. If you go down Seven Kings High Road, mate, you'll find 50
definitely.
chicken shops.
100%.
But
everyone loves fried chicken, and everyone, you know, with these other, you know, like the ones that I mentioned, they've taken it to another level. You know, they're doing all of these mad flavours.
like Orange Buffalo.
Orange Buffalo.
I love Orange Buffalo, I can't lie.
Orange Buffalo's sick. It's banging. Like, their sauce is unreal. Unreal. But, like, yeah, so you have like the buffalo stuff, you have the Korean style, you have all these like honey and sesame style, and you know, all these different things. And I thought, why doesn't someone do that with nuggets? Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
and you've got so many girls out there
that
not
love
saying just
nuggets.
girls, not saying just girls, but don't like eating chicken off the bone.
Ma-
That are like,
Mate,
I love
what
eating
is that
chicken. I
about?
still love eating chicken off the bone,
What is
man.
that about?
You don't find the tastiest bit of meat on the very end.
When you crunch
On the
the
very end, you're like, oh, that was the tastiest bit of the whole wing. That big bit I just ate, that tastes like shit compared to
I
that.
can tell he's a wing lover, blood. I'm
Exactly,
telling you.
that's the, I don't know why, but me
What
and my
is
older
that?
brother, me and my older brother as well, would love
Does your
chicken
missus
wings going
like
up.
chicken off the bone?
Doesn't really.
Okay.
Doesn't really. Same sort of thing. So I thought, there's obviously a market for it, for just eating,
100%.
you know, off of the bone, chicken, and nuggets. You know, it's a nostalgic thing as well. Like, I grew up eating chicken nuggets.
100%.
You
We
know?
all did.
So did people, you know, 10 years older than us, like when McDonald's started blowing up and whatever. So I thought, that's got to be it. And like, what's the name for it? I was like, fucking Nugs. Like, that's
Quick, easy.
easy. 4-letter name.
And I vividly remember, because I think my good friend Joe, it might have been Joe, who showed me, I can't remember exactly the first time I saw that you had done this.
Because I started working on the brand not long after I thought of the idea. Even though I'd started working on the recipe. So I bought myself a little fryer, little 20-pan Asda fryer. That I was doing stuff from home. So I started working on the recipes, started working on different breadings, different batters and different seasonings and all that stuff. And literally when I was saying working on it, I was like doing it every single night. Like every night I was making something new. My whole house. I was still living with my mum and dad. Luckily me and Charlie are moving out soon.
Oh,
you know.
Amazing.
You know, we're moving out soon. We're moving out soon.
That's not easy.
But we got there. But, you know, I've been living at home this whole time, and, you know, my mum and dad have been brilliant because they've put up with me, you know, first of all, testing out all these nuggets and frying in the house, you know, for God knows how long.
And going from being fucking happy and sad at the fucking same time.
Yeah, man.
Because people don't understand that business, I know people always try and separate business from emotion, yeah?
Yeah.
Business is emotional.
It is emotional.
It's fucking emotional. If you have done any level of sales, and this is to any people watching of a younger nature, older nature, if you're scared of sales, you need to get over that. Sales is an essential skill.
It's the biggest, I think it's probably the biggest thing. It's the biggest.
I think you need it. You need it.
You need to find that hunger to, you know, to want to do something and to make something good as well.
And not even necessarily
And
sell to monetize. Not even necessarily that.
No.
Sell to in
grow
some ways
something.
get what you want. I know that sounds a bit
Yeah.
manipulative, but to understand that psychology and power behind sales.
Yeah. Definitely, it makes you feel good. When you get a sale, it's a buzz.
Absolutely.
So when I sell a chicken nugget now, I get that same buzz as when I was selling a ticket for a party. Do
You
know
ever
what I
done
mean?
cold calling?
You know what, I did.
I was in cold calling for about 4 years.
About 6 weeks.
You're face to face.
It was at a very dodgy place.
I've been at the dodgiest place.
It was a basement,
I hated
right?
them.
It was a basement, yeah. I'm not going to say the company name yet. It was a basement in Borough.
Yeah.
And it was selling some fucking bullshit. Like,
I've sold some
carbon
bullshit.
credits or coloured diamonds or some bullshit on the phone. And I didn't realise. I went in there so naively. This was before I worked at We Are
you want
Festival,
$1.
Yeah. I went in there so naively. I was like, these guys are selling this stuff. This is cool. It's all legit.
Yeah.
And then I started reading the scripts. And it was saying, I'm calling you from 1 Buckingham Palace Road.
Yeah.
I'm like, I ain't on fucking Buckingham Palace
it
Road.
starts clicking.
I'm on Borough High Street in some little dingy basement. And then when I'm starting asking people for all of this, all of this stuff, how much money they wanted to put into this stuff, and all that sort of stuff. And then I started asking questions to the bosses. I was like, mate, these are dodgy.
This ain't right.
This ain't cool, man. I'm taking little old ladies' pensions here, and it ain't cool. So then
man.
I left quite quickly after I realised all that. I was like, I can't really be a part of that. But yeah, I did that, man. I did that cold calling stuff, and doing drama when I was younger and a kid. I think that's definitely helped.
Confidence.
Definitely helped with confidence. Definitely helped with
We've had very similar sort of upbringings, man. I feel
getting rejected as well. Like you've got to put up with a lot of people saying "fuck off," no, not up for it. But you need to keep that perseverance up and keep knocking at that same door.
Absolutely.
And I think that's probably that's driven me with NUGS as well, because I thought what, even if I don't succeed at this, even if it doesn't do well, who gives a fuck? I've tried it. I've tried something. If it goes well, brilliant. If it doesn't, there's no skin off my nose. I can go try and find and get a job elsewhere.
Yeah, of course.
So I went in there I went in with it pretty sort of fearlessly. I started building the brand. I started, buying the domain for it, which I tried to get nugs.com. Obviously, it's been taken by someone.
Of course, because it's probably at least
nugs.com. Do you know how much I wanted for it? 250 grand. The guys that own it, it's just a company, when you go on somewhere and it says owned by someone else.
Yeah.
And it's not even there's nothing on it. There's nothing on that website. The guys that own it, I was like, I'll offer you a couple of grand for it. I thought I could throw that at them. No, 250 grand. I was like, yeah, sweet. Don't worry about it. So, serious nugs. That's what I sort of, because we're, they're serious. They're banging. They're not your shitload of nuggets from McDonald's made of God knows what. Or
so you're obviously pushing a higher premium level of food.
It's good. Like, it's proper. 100% chicken breast, all locally sourced.
So in terms of
that was what I wanted to do to start with. I wanted
Okay.
to do that. That's what I wanted to do to start with. I didn't want to skimp and save on the product. I wanted to make sure I was getting the highest quality chicken. I wanted to, I worked every night and every day to try and get the seasoning right and get the crumb right and all of that sort of stuff.
How long did that take?
That took probably from middle of summer, so I say June, July, through to
2019.
Yeah, 2019 through to January 2020.
Okay.
January 2020. That's when I got. So that was like six months of trying to. Now you know what I'm saying about my mum and dad being patient and having me frying in the kitchen all that time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't want to skimp and save on anything. And even now, when we're looking at ingredients and trying a new sauce out and all of that sort of stuff, I try and find the not the very best quality ingredients, because you can go astronomical in terms of prices, but something that is of a higher quality that people, especially around our area of Essex, and your local chicken shop down the road they're not gonna go for, and they're not gonna have that sort of level of ingredient and flavour and that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
So I've always wanted to do that, and I always, I was listening to so many podcasts about setting up food businesses at the time.
Podcasts are honestly amazing for that.
Amazing, obviously.
You are literally...
DC's is one of the best I've heard. But yeah, I was listening to so many podcasts.
You know what? It's so funny you just said that.
Yeah.
I have been calling myself DC in music since I was 12. But I call this the Dominic Cowan podcast, right?
So no one knows about the DC.
Well, no, I think a lot of people know.
Yeah, people know.
Listen, if you've been rocking with me for years, yeah, then you know it's DC. But you just went DC there to me, and I was like, DC? That's the first time.
You separated the two.
Whereas before, I remember, bro, even with my DJing, I used to think, should I call myself Dominic Kelman or DC? I remember going through that for years. So it's mad you just did that because I had to.
That's what I always, when I think of you, think of DC. That's what I think of you straight away.
So COVID comes. How prepared were you at this point to do what you to push?
I weren't ready at all. We did a tasting session in January. Did it over at 93 Feet East. Because obviously I've got a relationship with the boys there.
Yeah, amazing.
From doing OSCURO there, countless times, and Zach who works there, and
93 is a great club.
Yeah,
man.
yeah. Zach and Daniele, they've got so many rooms in that place that you don't even know about. They've got like this little members club upstairs and stuff.
Big up Zachary, bro.
Yeah, Zach and Daniele. I won't leave Daniele out either, but
yeah, and Daniele. Big up. I know Zach more, so big up Zach. No. Of course not Daniele.
Daniele, yeah.
Sorry, of course. Sorry, I just realised we were talking. Yeah.
They both. I asked them. I said, "Look, have you got anywhere?" And they were like, "Yeah, look, we've got this actual members club." Because I was just thinking of doing it out in the courtyard and setting up a little stall out in the courtyard. And they were like, "Look, actually, we've got this members club upstairs. It's got a little kitchen attached to it. You can do it from there." I went up there. I was like, "Mate, this is perfect. It fits about 60, 70 people. You've got a kitchen there with all the extraction fans where we could put our fryers and all of that sort of stuff." So we did that back in January. But the plan was to then buy a stall, gazebo set up, buy all of the the outdoor setup, outdoor fryers and all of that kind of stuff, and hit the festival market from May. Me doing my job still, I was still planning to. I was working at Tool Room at the time, Tool Room Records, running all of their events, which I was loving, having such a amazing time. We had a bit of a not the most amazing season in Ibiza. It went well.
What was that? 2018,
19. That was. So
19.
19.
That season.
That season was doing Tool Room there. You know what? Some of the parties were sick. Some of the parties were amazing. Others, it's a hard island, man. And on that Sunday, you had
Ibiza is hard.
You had Glitterbox. You had Steve Lawler doing Viva Warriors
on a Sunday.
On a Sunday, you had you had a few different parties all going on that Sunday. So it was a hard night. We did it. We got through the season. We smashed it, and then at the end of it, we started looking at doing tours elsewhere. So I was concentrating on doing a UK tour, which I was loving. Booked in a load of shows, and I was planning on doing that while doing NUGS at festivals. While I went in. Me and Charlie sort of was working on the idea together. Me and Charlie, my missus. Her dad, who used to be a chef for years, he's a builder now. He wanted to get involved in it too. I said, look, why don't you sort of come on with me? You run the festival, run the kitchen itself at the festivals, and you run the stall, and I'll make sure we get into all of the festivals and get the bookings for them all. So that was the plan. That was what we were going to do. January come, did the tasting session, got loads of good feedback. Loads of people loved it. Loads of people had good constructive criticism as well, which we worked on. And we had a few bookings in. We had like 4 or 5. We had We Are Festival for one of them.
Wicked.
We had a beer festival for another one. And I mean, look, like a beer and a nugget, it's the easiest thing to eat when you're on the
do you have to pay rent for that space?
Yeah, you have to pay a pitch fee.
And is it hourly? Is it?
No, it's for the day. So you say a festival's on a 2-day weekend. You'd pay the pitch for the whole festival, for the whole sort of time of that festival. So you're not going to get a food van leaving halfway through a festival and another one coming in.
Of course. So really, they're going to give you the whole.
Pay for the whole thing. So
you know what? I didn't even think that far ahead.
$2,000, $3,000 or whatever for the pitch. I think Glastonbury is something ridiculous. I think the cheapest pitch at Glastonbury is about $9,000.
Yeah, I can
goes
imagine.
up to about $50,000 for the pitch. But obviously they've got the footfall to warrant that price. So we had a few booked in, 3 or 4 booked in. And then obviously, COVID come about. I remember sitting in the Tool Room office and we were all laughing and joking about it, thinking it wasn't, it was so far away in China at that time in January that you didn't think it was real. You thought this is some fucking funny thing to not to
because
laugh at.
it did start to
Not to laugh at,
it did start to dabble.
There was things about it coming from a bat and people eating bat soup and all this sort of stuff, and we were all like making sly jokes about it and thinking this ain't coming over to us. And then someone's got it in the UK, and then a couple people had it in the UK, and then boom.
I mean, I've had 4 members of my family die from it.
Really?
Yeah, brother.
Shit, man. It's
crazy.
So sad.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I didn't really didn't really hit me properly until a friend of a friend got it, who's got asthma, and he died like a few weeks after.
Wow,
I was like,
sorry to hear that, man.
No, it wasn't a friend of mine. It was a friend of a friend of a friend. But I've got asthma as well, and I was thinking, shit. If I it put it into perspective, like. Fuck, anyone can get it, man, and made me realise how serious it is. But when it first came about, I don't think anyone really took it too seriously.
And especially being from the UK, we fucking take the piss out of everything.
We all try and make a joke out of it. I mean, that's the best thing about us, but the worst
that is
thing
the one.
about,
Yeah, it's the best and worst thing about us.
Worst thing about at the same time. So, come round to March. Obviously, we're all told to start working from home. Everyone in an office is said to work from home if you can. And then I got a call from Mark Knight, like a guy who, one of the guys that runs Tool Room, and he said, look, mate, he was like, I love you to bits, but you're running our events, and as much as I want to keep you on, events aren't happening this year. They're not going to be happening for a good while. Like, there's no way, we can, find it feasible to keep you on.
Of course.
He said, look, obviously there's the furlough scheme, so we're going to keep you on furlough to as long as possible, until the government sort of pull that away. But then after that, unless events are up and running again, then, you're going to be out of a job. So I said, sweet.
Fuck. Yeah.
Fuck. Brilliant. This is fucked. I didn't think that was happening. But, it made sense. Like, I didn't feel animosity towards them. I didn't feel angry towards them. I understood where they were coming from, and I got it that, if events can't happen, how the fuck are they going to pay me a wage?
Yeah, of course.
To put events on.
Course.
So I'm sitting there, I'm at home, I'm like, I'm doing a few things that people were doing during lockdown or who were on furlough. I'm learning Turkish because I never really spoke it that much at home.
Oh, amazing.
I'm, just doing shit to keep me occupied. I'm fucking running and exercising every day.
Yeah, that's one thing I've been doing a lot
cooking.
of. I'm doing 5K a day.
Yeah, you're doing it a day. I'm doing it like every other day, maybe every 3 times a week or twice a week. But it's, man, I didn't think I could do that. The first run, I did like 1K.
No, mate, listen,
fucked.
I could not run 5K. I've been, since, bro, I should even show you how fat, listen, I put on nearly 4 more stone.
Wow.
I was about 16.5 at one point.
16.5.
Do you know what, fuck it, let me just quickly show you what I fucking look like, yeah?
You're going to have to show it to the camera as well, you know that.
Oh, yeah? mate, listen. I'm not even joking, my bro. Listen, I've got to get this for you now. Right, listen, look at this, bro.
I think people went one way or the other during that first lockdown.
So
I think you were exercising every day, or you were eating and drinking every day. I think that was, boy, fucking hell, shit, yeah, 16.5 stone. Here you go, people. Look at him. Doesn't even look like the same man.
Now look at me, Sam.
Look at him.
I can see me Corey again. So, mate, no joke. So it's been a blessing and a curse, everything that's been going on.
Yes, yeah.
So look, lastly, as we go through towards the end of this, COVID's come now, and are you, because of the buzz that you have already, I feel. That's me, by the way. That's my perception. You might think different. But I feel like a lot of people know you. I think a lot of people know what you can offer, what you can bring. Yeah. Not necessarily in terms of NUGS, but in terms of what you...
I feel like I've met and I've made so many relationships doing the promoting thing.
Absolutely.
I've got so many great friends from putting parties on, and I've got so many people that I've just met, acquaintances that I've made throughout that whole time. And look, I've got to take my my hat off to Charlie, my missus, she was the one who, when I was sitting there doing all of this shit that everyone else was doing during the first lockdown, she said, look, you're sitting on your ass the whole time. Why don't you just do this NUGS thing from home? Why don't you do it from here?
Yeah. Big respect to Charlie.
Yeah,
let's give her a clap.
Do it.
Listen,
Charlie.
A good woman by your side is a very
so
big difference.
You know, she's still been working full time. She's still working full time throughout the first lockdown, but she still helped me start it all, do it from home. Bought another little fryer to do from home. I already had the one that I was testing with. I'd already put the brand out there. I'd already told people about it. I already had the Instagram and all of that sort of building up through people that I knew. And then I started it from home. Started doing it. I announced, look, we're going to have our first weekend here. We're going to have a set amount of either delivery or collection slots for people to pick up from. And because I guess, you know, I've got so many, you know, good mates throughout the area and, you know, that would want to support me. That first weekend we sold out of collection and delivery spots. So we thought, fuck, like we've sold out here. Like this is man. I said to Charlie, I remember before that first weekend saying, if we get 3 orders, like 3 people order, that's a start.
Absolutely.
That's a start. And then next week we might get 10. And then the week after that we might get 15. I think we sold out like 35 orders on that first weekend.
Amazing, man.
And then the next weekend we were like, look, we've got to obviously, you know, do more. We can't do the same amount. If we've sold out, obviously there's room to, you know, do some more orders. So I got my little cousin to come and drive for me as well as Charlie doing deliveries. We, you know, did a few more orders. We did, I think, 50 or 60. Sold out again. I'm like, shit. So and at the same time, you know, people were liking and sharing our shit and putting photos of all of our, you know, our food on Instagram. And one of my good mates, Sean, actually put me in touch with, you know, Greg Shepherd, Billy Fairs from Towie.
Yes.
Her fella.
Her partner.
Her partner, yeah. He put me in touch with him because he apparently loves like Orange Buffalo and all of these other wing places. But everyone's in lockdown.
I know a few people affiliated to them as well.
No one can go to all of these places. No one can go up to London to get what they usually want. So he says, you know what? Oh, mate, can we get an order from this place that you're... Because my mate Sean had it, and then he see it on his page and said, look, can I get some of that? Who's doing it and stuff? He put him in touch with me. I was like, amazing. So he was like, I said, look, don't worry about paying for it. We'll do it, obviously, for nothing. But please, 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 can you put it on your Instagram or put a post up about it? Like, anything you can do would be amazing. Did that. Sent him a load of stuff. Luckily, he loved it. He then shared it on his Instagram. We went up about 500 followers or 600 followers in a few hours. And then one of the people that followed us off of him was that Vicky Patterson, who used to do... Geordie Shore. She wanted to do the same thing. She wanted some. We were like, amazing. Like our heads were blown.
So now you're going...
we were smiling, honestly.
It's just like this. But when someone messages me, I'm going, yes, let's do it.
Like, what?
I'm like, what?
Mate, it's like when I was doing promoting, it was like a DJ saying, yeah, they're going to play for our party. It was like, shit, this is amazing.
It is so weird,
It's a buzz. It's a buzz. When you get something like that, it's crazy. And she ended up having it. We got a few more followers. And then it started to sort of
it's around
snowball.
10k, right?
We're on like just over 10, yeah. I think.
Yeah,
like
man,
10.
amazing.
Yeah.
Again, let's give them another clap, Josh.
Cheers.
Amazing, because I'm one, I'm an overthinker, but one, I'm an analyzer. So I watch everything. I guess it's a part of my podcasting game as well. I've got to stay informed. I've got to be a part of the culture which is growing around.
If you're ear to the ground, you've got to,
you just watch things, right? And I think I took my eye off what you were doing for a month or 2 months, and then you're on the news.
Yeah, but mad.
So what the fuck happened there?
So we had all of this, you know,
and I did not second guess you for a minute.
Yeah, wicked.
So when I saw it, I weren't even surprised.
Yeah,
I weren't even surprised because I knew that's something that's not out of your range to do.
Yeah, I was super surprised. I was super nervous when that was happening. I was like, what is going on? But we had the Vicky Patterson thing. Everything started to snowball. My mum and dad, because it started getting so busy, and you know, I was working on these 3 little fires in my garden. I was getting my mum and dad to make our boxes up with our stickers on the boxes and you know, our greaseproof paper in the boxes and all of that sort of stuff. They would get, you know. It was only natural that I had to get out of our kitchen at some point. And I can't take my hat off enough to the Rising Sun pub in Hornchurch.
Oh, yeah.
The boys over there, I was actively looking for a kitchen, and a friend of a friend put me in touch with them, and they gave us, a 3-month trial
Well, maybe sorry to cut you. You can maybe speak to my good pal George, who I've had on the podcast, who runs the Lions Prep.
Oh right, yeah.
He's
Amazing.
my good pal. I've had him on here, so maybe you can speak to him because he's always dealing with kitchens. One thing he's always dealing with.
Mate, link us up because at the moment, and if anyone knows of any kitchens now, we need to find a second space. We need to find a place in.
After this, I'll put you in contact with George.
That'd be amazing. Amazing, like Chelmsford, Southend, East London, any of that.
He's in East London with his kitchen right now, if I remember rightly. So before this ends, I'll put you in contact with him.
So anyway, they give us a 3-month trial at the pub, paying next to no money because they're not open at the moment. Look, the amount of rent and rates that we're having to pay for this place, us charging you a little bit more is going to fuck you up. And it's not going to really benefit us in any way.
So really, truly, what the fuck is the point?
We'd rather just give you a chance and you try and make something of this.
Absolutely.
So, them boys, all of them over there, I couldn't thank them enough.
And it keeps them afloat, but also helps a friend, right?
Yeah, well, it keeps them afloat and, they didn't really have that much of a food offering before. And they were going through a bit of a transition period. Like, it used to be called the Cricketers and then moved, was called the George for a little bit and then moved to the Rise and Sun. They were really trying to sort of, rebrand themselves, get a
younger... think, have I watched West Ham in there before?
Probably.
Near Luna?
Probably. They show all the... Yeah, that's it.
Oh, right, yeah,
They show all the football in there.
They
show all the football. Which has done well for us, because, everyone loves a little bite to eat while
watching football. Because I was thinking, I was like... Because I always get Rising Sun confused with the one that's in the middle near...
Fatlin.
Not the Firkin. Not Firkin. The one that's in the middle.
By the one-way system, you mean?
Yeah.
The Sutton's Arms.
No, because that's near Nando's and all that.
Yeah.
I'm talking about just a bit up near like Sainsbury's and that. Like there's a little island in the middle.
No, that's it. Sutton's Arms is by the little island in the middle.
Is that
Sutton's Arms?
No, because Sutton's is next to Subway, yeah?
Yeah, Sutton's is next
I'm
to Subway.
talking about the other one, which is in the middle, near like there's a petrol garage.
Oh, the Harrow you talking about?
Not the Harrow, not the one.
I'm getting on my.
So the one in between the Harrow and Sutton's, there's one right in the middle. But anyway,
the Firkin. That's the Firkin.
The Firkin's the one next to Nando's.
Yeah, I don't know. It must be the Rising Sun. You must be thinking of the Rising Sun.
It's a no because I can't. But anyway.
Yeah. But it's a Rising Sun. They gave us the chance, and it was. We had to do like quite a bit of work in the kitchen.
What's the one next to the train station?
Railway. The railway?
The railway!
Hey, you got there in the end.
Yeah.
Got there. Sorry about that.
That's the one I was talking about. Sorry.
But yeah, we got to, they gave us the chance. We had a sick opportunity there in front of us. We had to, do a bit of work in the kitchen. We had to, clean it all out because I haven't used it for a while. And look, our thing to them was, look, we've definitely got a brand here. We've got a crowd here. We've got people that will come to the pub to eat our food and have a drink at the same time. So we started in there. We were able to employ some people that were some of our friends and other people that we didn't know to start with. That were put on furlough from all of this stuff, or put on furlough, or had lost their jobs completely. Like I had one really good mate who worked in the events industry with me. He was more on the techie side of things. He lost his job completely. He lost his income because he was like, he was like self-employed.
I'm self-employed as well, so it's been rough.
It was rough. Like he didn't have anything.
I hope he's doing okay.
Well, luckily we managed to sort of give in a little bit of, a little bit of work to start with, and then we were able to give in a little bit more work. And things got really, really busy from there. And then they opened, and things got even busier. At the same time, we're messaging all these celebs, and trying to get out to all of the Towie lot and all of these. Everyone sort of everyone in our vicinity that we could sort of reach out to and deliver our food to. A few of them says yes, and we, our popularity still starts to grow, and we then start to, add more menu items and things like that. And I remember putting a post out in, like all of the local groups, like the Hornchurch Community Group and Elm Park Community Group.
And Hornchurch is quite a cult.
Yeah, it's Hornchurch all around.
It's a very little.
A lot of people know each other's business.
It's a hub.
It's definitely a hub. 100%.
A hub's the best way.
A hub is the word. A hub is the word. And you've got all these online hubs of the hub of Hornchurch Community, Upminster Community. I remember posting all of there, just telling people our story.
Yeah.
Mine and Charlie's story. How we started this together out of lockdown. how, you know, I was put on furlough and then made redundant, and then, you know, started this idea, putting photos with our food as well, because, you know, some of our photos, you know, made the food look quite nice. Put that on there.
Yeah, they look well.
We put that on there, and then Charlie texts me and says, the BBC have just messaged us. And I was like, what? She was like, yeah, the BBC have just messaged us. I was like, shut up, you are chatting shit. I've looked myself, and yeah, funnily enough, a guy from the BBC was doing a story on businesses that have started during lockdown and that have come out of this, you know, this bad,
and I remember it being
bad situation.
I remember it being pivotal to when, like, everyone was smashing the Uber Eats. Like, I just remember that interview being at a really pivotal point in food being distributed to consumers. I just remember it vividly.
I think that's definitely been a big thing, and I think the other thing that's been massive for us is that so many people want to support local businesses at the minute.
Yes, they do. Yeah. More than ever, I feel.
The community. There's been a few things that have come up from such a, you know, terrible situation that, you know, we've been in, and so many people have gone through, and it's a weird feeling, you know, having something do well out of something that's, you know, been so bad and so, you know, so difficult for so many people.
Absolutely.
It's a bittersweet feeling about it. But one of the good things that has come out of it is that people are, you know, looking to their community more. People are looking out for each other a little bit more. And one of them things being, if someone's got a local business rather than, you know, a big conglomerate that earns millions and millions, they're going to look after the little man, and look after the local business.
And that's where things have flipped.
We were quite lucky with that kind of thing.
Exactly.
Really lucky. And the BBC interview was one of them things that, you know, they were doing a spotlight on these local businesses.
Because what I will say is to these big conglomerates is that things have flipped now, where we've got so many tools now. Just exactly what I'm doing, what Josh is doing.
Definitely.
What you were doing is that there's a very thin line between, you know, these big corporations fucking little man. And trust me, I'm in construction. I've been fucked many times, right? Yeah. So there's a change now where these large corporations don't have that capital or the trust. Remember, perception and trust is massive. They don't have that. So now they're looking for local businesses. They're now turning people like myself and you into being pushed towards bigger conglomerates now. They need us so that they can use the ideas that we have and that we are pushing.
What I think it is
to explode like yourself.
Yeah.
And hopefully for me soon.
Mate, you're on your way, boy.
I'm trying, cuz.
What I think it is as well, you've got, you know, you and me have most of the same tools now.
Yes.
That all these other conglomerates do, or like these all these other big businesses do.
Exactly.
You know, you've got your social media platform, you know, and you're smashing it now with your podcast.
Thank you, I appreciate
through your social media platform. And although, you know, there's definitely bad sides to social media as well as very good sides, you can't deny that it's helped small businesses take off of nothing, you know, and all for free.
Absolutely.
As long as your content is good, and as long as it's sort of new and innovative, and has got something maybe that, you know, others don't, then as long as that gets picked up by the right people, you're going to do well. So social media has been like, you know, it's been massive for us. It's been our biggest thing.
And obviously you've done, you know, very, very big things across the board in the industries you've worked in.
Yeah.
But I think for the first time you're seeing what it's like to be by yourself and the effect that social media can have. So for example, an artist, okay, let's say G-Unit. You know G-Unit.
Yeah,
you can't not know G-Unit.
Yeah.
I love G-Unit. I just tried to stunt, man. So imagine someone like Lloyd Banks. He's been in this massive group across the world, and then takes a step back maybe 10 years later to do a concert by himself. Some people may see that as going backwards. He's going to be doing less people, so on and so forth. But you also see what him being by himself, the impact he's doing by himself.
Yeah.
So instead of doing 1 million shows now,
100%.
he's doing 100,000. But you see how many there are for him. So I feel like you branching off.
I think
you realise the importance of the skills, the connections, the sheer grit that you have to want to succeed in the business that
you know what? I think the thing that made me start this thing to start with, to start NUGS, or to have the idea back when I was still working at Toolroom, was the fact that, like I said before, I've always sort of grafted in everything that I've done. I've always put 110% effort in every single job that I've done. But as amazing as those jobs have been, and as much as I can't thank those people that I was working for enough, everything I was doing was for them.
Exactly.
Every bit of graft that I was putting in
That's a gem.
Was for someone. It was for someone.
True.
It was for someone else. I was building someone else's dream, and taking someone else's idea, and building that up as much as possible, which is great because it gives you that experience, and it gives you it's experience that I wouldn't have got elsewhere. And I know now, and which I wish if I hope other people end up sort of seeing it and taking that plunge and taking that chance as well. Doing it for yourself, there's not another feeling like it, because even I'm doing more hours. I'm doing more hours now than I was doing back at Toolroom or 338 or 3 after night. Don't. And I'm up at 6:30 in the morning now. Sure, I might be doing other shit like going like gymming quickly or doing a bit of meditation and then working. But I'm working far more hours now than I've worked ever before in my life. But I'm reaping, the benefits. I'm reaping the benefits of it.
It may be slow, but you're reaping the benefits.
It may be slow, but it's, every tiny little step of progress feels like a minute like you've just won the lottery.
Absolutely, man.
And,
Absolutely.
there's not a better feeling like it. I know I've got a long way ahead of me, and we've got a lot of work to do with NUGS, and I want to try and build it as much as possible. But where we've come so far, that just the journey itself has felt amazing.
Absolutely,
and I feel like
for me to watch it,
yeah, and I feel like you've got to go through the graft to really get the most out of it. And if you're just given something, I don't think you can get the feeling of succeeding in something as much as someone who's proper put the graft in and work their bollocks off to get there.
Absolutely.
Like what you're doing with this podcast, when you're competing with Joe Rogan and on that level of
one
things,
day.
this graft that you're putting in, it's gonna be well worth the it's gonna be well worth the effort.
Exactly.
And it's gonna be such a better feeling than just being handed something on the plate.
And listen, everything that Reis has done for me today, as we finish, I really just want to give another clap for Reis. Everybody, for Reis.
I'll go red every time.
Listen, as I started this, I feel like the person I knew before this interview, I feel like all I've done is enhance the person that I thought of you before.
Wicked.
You're an amazing person.
Wicked.
You've got a genuine heart, brother.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah. All I can say to you is keep going.
Yeah.
I hope Charlie sticks by you, because this ain't going to be easy.
Too.
It's not going to be easy.
Yeah, no.
She can't leave that smile, son.
Exactly.
Yeah, but she's a good girl, and I thank you for rooting for my friend here.
Cheers.
And lastly, listen, as we stop, thank you, Josh, as well for the episode. Cheers to Josh. Big up Josh Brand. Is there anything you would like to leave the conversation?
If you haven't tried NUGS, shameless promoting once again. I'm never gonna lose that promoter side of me, yeah. But if you haven't tried NUGS, give it a go. It's gonna be better than your average sort of takeaway, and something a little bit different. And if you know of any kitchen spaces in Chelmsford, Southend, East London,
I'll sort that out.
Give me a shout.
All right, guys. Well, listen. Again,
thank you very much.
See you soon.
Cheers to the DC.
Thank you. I'm going to put all of Reis's details at the end of this episode. Thank you so much. Cheers, and have a good day.